The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break!
with Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, September 1st, 2022, season 18, episode number 23. And welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We are presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And the team has now been officially rostered. They have 53 players on the roster. And we're going to talk about all the things that have happened over the last couple days. And some things that seem to maybe could transpire today or tomorrow, or at least there's movement with regard to the roster. We'll talk about that as well. And in the second segment of the show, Brian has a game for us. We're going to have some fun today. He's got some questions that we'll run through and have some fun this morning. So thank you guys for joining us. Start first with the news. The news of the day. Cowboys maybe are looking at outside help at the tackle position. The news is that Jason Peters, will be visiting the Cowboys today, maybe take a physical or, at least let them take a look. What are you guys hearing as far as what's going on with that and the likelihood that he'll sign here?
I mean, it's what I was told was a look-see. They want to see what kind of shape he's in and what, how much he wants to play, wants to be here, just what his mindset is. I mean, I think the fact that and this is what he did last year, I believe, this time of year where, he doesn't want to go to training camp.
Well, he did go to training camp, I thought, last year. Did he not?
Did he?
I thought I saw an interview
3 weeks in.
where he said, it was a couple weeks into training
Maybe
camp.
it's off-season.
Yeah.
He's played 18 years or so. He knows what he's doing, and I think that they're just trying to figure out and see if this is going to fit. They're obviously looking. They said that they were looking, and here we go. I mean, I think if all goes well, I mean, they'll probably sign him if the money works out.
Yeah, this is he played on the veteran minimum, $1.75 million last year. I watched him last night on tape, San Francisco Green Bay Giants, and I watched the Giants game because I wanted to see him against a division opponent, and so able to kind of get a little bit of an idea about that. This guy's still got something left in his game, and I know my gang of 7 around the league, the general managers, the player personnel guys that watch tape full-time are saying, listen, take a look at this guy, Brian, And he was the one guy that people were mentioning the most as opposed to the Eric Fishers and guys like that, the other ones. So I did take a peek. This guy can help you as far as the pass blocking stuff goes. Felt like he was much better pass blocking than he was run blocking. And when I mean run blocking is when the play goes away from him. When he's the left tackle and the ball goes to the outside there, then that's where you get – it's a little bit of a struggle for him to have to get that cutoff, to get that block where he has to get his head across. Now, he's really good when the ball comes behind him where he can just – push, shove, use his mass, use his strength to just bully people that way. Pass protection stuff and all that was just fine. I felt like there was, he had a rookie quarterback. He wasn't always sure what was going on with Fields, moving around and stuff like that. But he held up well. I didn't know what to expect when I sat down and watched that. I'm thinking, this guy is going to be sloppy technique. It's going to be bad. The run stuff is not a liability, and the pass protection stuff can give you enough you'll feel comfortable using him that way. So yeah. I have to admit, I was really pleasantly surprised watching him play.
So let's assume for a second that the Cowboys were to make this move and they were to bring in Jason Peters. Based on your scouting report, he may come in the door as the best option at left tackle right now. Would you guys say, hey, slide him right in?
No.
It allows you to take your rookie back to guard where he's been playing all summer and do it that way? Or do you say, hey, this is an opportunity, let's get Tyler out there?
This covers you on a lot of things. I mean, this isn't about Tyler Smith so much. I mean, you have one guy that you trust, that you should trust. Now, they can say they trust Biadasz at center or Terrence Steele and all that because that's the bed that they've made. But the guys that are going to be there is Zack Martin. So Okay, maybe Tyler Smith is a good left tackle. Maybe Peters is better than Terrence Steele. Maybe McGovern doesn't work out at guard, and maybe Tyler Smith plays there. Maybe Biadasz struggles there, and McGovern has to play there. I mean, there's a lot of issues going on. Get a good player, like Brian said, that can play. I know this. Every year we would go to Philadelphia and be like, well, Peters didn't practice all week. Peters has got this and that. He's not going to be much of anything. And then you don't hear anything from that side. It's just solid play like he's been for 2 decades.
Yeah.
You know what scares me is that maybe they have a certain vision of what they're looking for, what they could possibly be with, depending the combination that they decide to go with. But going back to even, was it last year that we first saw Terrence Steele, or was it the year before?
Week two. Well, no, we saw him 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 years ago, when we first started seeing Terrence Steele, that we were just bashing them and saying he needs to get out of there. Like, they need to move him. So what scares me is that maybe they have a certain idea of what they're going to do, but then they got to get through these games and keep pushing. But then every week we're seeing the struggles, and maybe they end up in a loss. You don't know. But that they just want to stick with something, but then what does that process look like by the time it finally starts kind of paying off? So just going back to Terrence Steele's situation a few years ago, that thought, just going through that again, that kind of thing of like, oh, let's just trust us, let's keep watching, but then what happens in that time?
I guess you would probably expect that Tyler Smith's floor is probably a little higher than Terrence Steele. So the struggles you saw from Terrence Steele, hopefully you wouldn't see that level of struggle. Now, don't get me wrong. Tyler Smith's playing all season this year at left tackle. You're going to have some moments where you're like,
sure,
man. Because he's a rookie. Like, that's what happens. We saw it with Tyron Smith. His rookie year, he wasn't great. No. I mean, he had to kind of learn and develop as well. I think all players, most players, not all players, but most players have to learn and develop. That would be the expectation. But I think it's a good point that they have developed guys, and so you kind of have to wait and see how that plays out. The hope is that you're not just always developing guys, and at some point, I think this is what you're saying. At some point, you kind of get to a level where you've developed them, and now you have a good offensive line. Because if you're always just developing, you never quite get there to be able to actually reap the benefits of it.
Plug this guy in right away. I mean, are we even saying that Tyler Smith would even play guard? Because they've been with Connor McGovern.
Yeah, they went with Connor
time.
McGovern. Really, that's the question that you have to ask is, and I know Sean Sharif on 105.3 asked it of Jerry Jones, and he said only the man up above knows. I'm like thinking, well, you're the man up above on this team. You can tell me that he could play left.
You're the man below the man up above.
Exactly. So, we're asking you this, not the man up above. You are the man up above for this team. But to me personally, to answer your questions, I feel like that play Tyler Smith at tackle. See what you got there. Yeah. And maybe like what we've seen where at times we've been pleasantly surprised about Steele. They won games with Steele there. And so maybe you find a way that, hey, looks comfortable. He could play there. It's not a problem. And it buys you a little bit more time with Peters, that you just don't have to immediately plug Peters in there. You could, if you sign him, that is. You could work with him for a couple of weeks. And if things are working out fine, just keep riding with it. That your determination is you drafted this guy to play left tackle. They told you that. They told you, nobody else has ever come out and said, we drafted this kid to replace somebody. Dak Prescott wasn't drafted to replace Tony Romo. It was, they've come out and told you who their left tackle of the future is. And, this is an opportunity to see that. If you feel that way about him, that enough to draft him, play him. You're just playing him in week 1 instead of week 8. That's all it is right now.
I agree with that. My only concern, and their concern is your $40 million quarterback that in his blind side if he's ready to do it. Because we've seen the guys that aren't ready to block and handle everything that comes with it. Mm-hmm. Then your quarterback could be looking out his ear hole, and then what's the problem there? So I get it. I just feel like Peters can come in and play if he signs. He'd come in and play relatively soon. But I don't think Tyler Smith will be a backup. I think there's definitely going to roll for him. And like I said before, you got guys across the line. It's going to shake out.
Do you feel like he would have been if they play Peters, say against Tampa, if they sign him?
Yeah.
If they play, do you feel like they play Peters versus Tampa and then go ahead and put Smith at guard?
No,
or leave him at guard.
No, I don't think so this week. But I think that because of Tyler Smith being injured, not practicing, not being better than McGovern at guard, I don't believe. Sure. I don't believe that they
never made that move to make you think that was the case.
They don't think that way. So I wouldn't do that. I would probably, if Peters is signed, I would let him work into it. But he's going to be.
I'm interested.
He's not signing here to be a backup.
No, I'm interested to see what Tyler Smith can do. I really am.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where people talk about technique and things. And I tweeted about this yesterday. You ask any guard that plays. Ask Nate Newton. We have a great resource in this building.
Was standing right there like 30 seconds ago.
I saw him out of the corner of my eye. Nate will tell you that things happen really quick for guards, inside players. You have to be good with your hands because it's on you that quick. And so, the fact he had the one holding call, the next week he doesn't get a holding call, I think we've seen improvement in technique with him. And to the point where I'm like, yeah, let's go. But you're right about the $40 million quarterback because we saw what happened to him in Atlanta when Green was out there at left tackle, and Dak really wasn't the same after that when you're taking that type of a pounding.
I will say this, and I'd love to get you guys' feedback on this. The one thing I would be a little bit concerned about is if they came in and they decided, hey, we're going to go with Tyler, we're going to sign Jason Peters, but we're still going to go with Tyler. We want to go with our young guy. I would be really worried that get to week 4, Tyler's having some struggles. You pull him now because I wonder how much that affects his long-term progress and in his mental state. Do you guys worry about that at all?
Well, it's a concern to a point, but you just gotta hope that you think the mental makeup of the kid. You don't think he would be weak mentally. Most offensive linemen, they might struggle a little bit with their confidence, but not like some other positions. Linemen, you play 70 plays. And you might have 3 of them that are really, really bad, but you got to bounce back that way. And I just kind of feel like that the mental makeup of Tyler Smith is better. That if something were not to be perfect with him, what he tried to do, he led the country in holding calls at Tulsa. We didn't see this year where he was leading the preseason in holding calls. We saw, a holding call, 2 holding calls. One of them I didn't think was a real holding call. But he finally felt like he got better.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't see him. I see him working on whatever deficiencies he might have with his craft.
Again, not to be insensitive, but you can't baby these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just part of the game. That's the game. That's the business. And there's a certain type of thing that happens within you when you get benched or pulled back and you get to watch from the sideline. And I've heard it from players themselves. I heard it from Connor Williams when he was out, hurt, and he got to watch the game. There is a different learning that happens within that period. So I don't think, and listening to Tyler Smith and watching him and things like, great guy, by the way. He seems like the type of player you want. And with that, the attitude, he's a very competitive guy. So I don't think that would break him. If anything, if it does happen that way, I think he would be able to just improve from that and learn from it.
Well, your example is they pulled McGovern last year. McGovern made starts and they pulled him, and look where he's at right now, where we're all kind of talking, well, is he the starter? Is he not the starter? That kind of thing. So
I'm looking at Larry Allen's stats like that too. Larry Allen started a couple of games and then he didn't start, and then he came back and
he turned it to Larry Allen.
Yeah, I agree. With Brian, mental makeup there, I think is strong, and he'd be the first to realize why he's not the guy, especially if it's a guy for Jason Peters.
Yeah,
if you're not the guy, if you're the first round pick and they bench you for let's go, who's the 5th round pick.
Yeah, now
you're like, wait a second here.
See, if you're Alex Leatherwood, who was drafted by the Raiders, and you get cut really after your first year, basically.
Probably
then
some mental stuff he's
you
got
should
to
have
go
some,
through.
You should have
He
some
needs
problems. You
yeah.
should have some confidence issues right there for sure. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, Brian's got a game for us. We're going to have some fun here. It is a Thursday. It's our final show of the week, so we'll have some fun. Here, and we'll do it when we come right back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Little Sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Back to the break.
Make sure and get your Essilor lenses if you want to see every exciting play this season. Book an appointment at your local Essilor experts. Find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Welcome back. Second segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by Miller Lite. This segment, though, presented by blockchain.com. Brian, it's your turn. You get to
I
do
knew
a
there was a
game.
reason you brought me back
That's
to do
exactly
this, right?
why. And
so next week I have to have Tampa film done.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah,
and
literally,
what else you need from me?
with the game. Like, just so everybody knows, it was like, what, I don't know, Brian, maybe 8:30 last night.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do the show rundown. I'm like, man, I don't know if we got enough. And I was like, Brian, got a game for us?
Did you go to the bullpen? Like,
I did. I absolutely did.
And Brian, playing that horn,
and
the
in
narco
typical,
song.
in typical Brian fashion, he was like, sure, got you. So I was like, all right, great, we're good.
Here
and
we
Amber,
go.
next week, there's probably going to be a text coming from me to you, like one day,
I
hey,
love
can
playing
we
games.
get a
Wednesday
game?
Night?
Huh?
Wednesday night for
It's
you guys?
Wednesday, so yeah, maybe Thursday.
Maybe Thursday.
Exactly. Last night was date night, so here we go. Yeah, that's probably going to happen again.
I
next
enjoy doing this. I really, really do. So here we go.
right.
I usually call this Who Needs to Be Better, but I'm going to call this Who Needs to Be Best. And what I've got is a couple of players. And I want you guys to tell me, with your knowledge and your best ability, who needs to be the best between these two guys for the Cowboys this year. Mm-hmm. Okay? So, Ambar, I'll start with you on this one. How about this? And we'll all answer. You can answer. Everybody can answer. But I'll start with you on this one. Who needs to be best? Ezekiel Elliott or DeMarcus Lawrence?
I'm going to go with Zeke on that one. Mainly because, again, I have many doubts still on what's going to happen with the offense passing game in general. So I think that the Cowboys are going to need to try to rely a lot more and find that balance on the running game. I think Zeke, despite of what some other people may say, like fans and things like that, I think he's still he's a key player for this offense. And I don't think the Cowboys are ready to fully rely on a guy like Tony Pollard. So I'm going to go with Zeke. His blocking game on games that he's not necessarily the one making the highlight, I think he's going to be a very important guy for this offense Because on defense, you got many other guys other than Marcus.
100% Zeke, because when Zeke was healthy last year, the offense was rolling. When he got hurt, they struggled. When D-Law got hurt, they won 9 out of 10. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's that insignificant, but I do know that he won't be the guy that will be rushing. He's not going to lead the team in sacks. I think Parsons will do that. And so I just think, but they need Zeke to be the guy.
Yeah, I think when you look at opposing teams, I think opposing defenses will be keying on Zeke Elliott. They'll want to know where he is and what he's doing. I think on the flip side of that, I think on the offensive side, they're probably going to be looking for Micah Parsons more than they'll be looking for DeMarcus Lawrence. So for me, I look at it and say Zeke is important because Zeke still is, as Jerry says, he's still kind of what they do, that he is the vein through which they will go.
If I put Parsons instead of Lawrence, would you think about it?
No, not Micah.
Now it's Micah easy. Like, by the way,
Micah
on the
Dak.
entire team.
I don't know if that's on your list, Micah or Dak.
No, I did not do that.
Because I said that the other
quarterback,
day.
But I always feel like the quarterback will be the most important one. Don't you feel like that?
Can I say this? Let's think about it like this. This team, I think, is a defensive team. If they're going to do well this year, it's going to be because their defense does really well. I think the offense is compromised a bit. You talk about the offensive line, talk about the receivers. I think really their strength is the defense. So you tell me the best player on the defense is going to be gone. I think that, to me, is worse than the best player on the offense on a defensive team.
I'm just thinking Cooper Rush behind the I mean, okay, that's really pushing it there. I think that you need Dak. We've seen what this kid
Absolutely
looks like.
You do, but I'm saying you gotta basically, you got two answers that neither one of them is good, right? But you got to choose which one is worse.
Just think about like the third quarter of the Bengals game, week 2, and we're sitting there in the press box, and you're like, blank just took over the game. Could Dak just take over the game? We've seen it a little bit, but I could see Micah Parsons just taking over the game. Like he's got 2 sacks and this drive and all that. I just think,
is he your best player?
In my opinion,
yeah. And not only that, but let's also think about it like this: like
better than
there are other people that have to do their jobs well for Dak to be able to be at his best. For Micah can just literally take over a game just because he's bad. Like just because he's out there and you just can't stop him. Think about Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. He had a compromised offensive line. He is considered one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the league. Couldn't do anything. So I think it's the quarterback still needs other people in order for him to be at his best. Micah can just be the best.
Do you think this is a year that though Dak needs to take over that and not be the guy that relies on people?
There's no way. If you're a quarterback, you need the offensive line to be at their best, right?
Sure. No, but I'm saying, though, we always say that Dak can only function if he has others around him that are good.
Like he needs that Aaron Rodgers step, not to be at that level, but to be at that step of like, doesn't matter who it is. You kind of saw that right before he got hurt. Now, they weren't winning games, but that offensive line was a train wreck. I mean, he had Tyron Smith missing games, Zach moving out the tackle. He was still putting up a lot of yards. They just weren't winning.
Depending on what teams you're playing, too. Yeah.
All right.
Good job of that.
But hold on. Because even
she's annoyed.
Everything goes back to Dak. You know that?
She's annoyed.
It wasn't even about Dak.
Well, going back, I mean, and again,
she wasn't with us in the early 2000s. We had no quarterback, right, Nick? She would have lost her mind.
Wow, and I've lost it quite a few times already during the time I've been here. But I'm just thinking, and I agree with you guys on Micah Parsons and all that. And I'm speaking just like one game type of thing, not the whole season. I still feel that the defense has enough talent and Dan Quinn to figure it out and just make it work.
They could survive
They can survive as opposed to the offense. Yeah. I don't think they can easily survive.
Folks on the radio agree with you about that. They think they could survive losing Parsons. As bad as it sounds.
Where's the tree or any wood or anything?
Oh, no. Oh, hey, right there. There you go.
No, thank you.
All right, no.
I'm not.
Hey,
I'm not on that team.
All right, here we go.
No.
Here we go. All right. Who needs to be better, or who needs to be the best? Noah Brown or Jordan Lewis?
I would, if it starts with me, I would say Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis as a slot guy, you can get beat and have a guy really work you in the middle of the field if you can't get off the field on third down. I do think it's important for Noah Brown to be the guy here early on in the season, but Jordan Lewis, if he's a week at the slot corner and teams will stay on the field on second, third down and move the chains. I think for me, it would be Jordan Lewis.
For me, I would say Noah Brown, and I think about this question from the standpoint of options. I feel like if I'm not getting the best from Jordan Lewis, I think at Jordan Lewis' best, he is the third best cornerback on the team. If he's not at his best, I think Deron Bland could maybe step in and maybe provide you really good comparable play. Then you look at the wide receiver position. I don't know if they got a lot of options right now. Until they get Gallup back, Noah has to be at his best. And if not, what else are you going to do? I don't know that you got other options that you can just throw out there. So for me, I look at it and say Noah's the guy that has to be at his best because you just don't have other options right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Jordan is my guy, but Noah, he's at the time you've been here long enough, and this is
6
a time
years,
where the
right?
team
Yeah.
needs you to kind of step up. And I think this is the time that we need to kind of see that translating and have the offense kind of be able to lean on a little. I mean, not fully lean on him, but have someone that can make some plays on there.
If he doesn't make any kind of plays, and then all the double teams go to CD, then basically you're taking out two receivers. So I see your point there, but I also see that if Jordan Lewis isn't, if you won't be like you're saying, if he's the weak link, they'll just replace him because they have a deep roster, of cornerbacks.
Yeah.
So I can see both.
Derek, I hope this throws you off a little bit here.
Oh gosh,
Cavante Turpin or Brett Maher?
As much as I like Turpin, Maher has to be at his best because, again, there's no other option. That's how you have to. I mean, you're going to need him to kick field goals. You're going to need him to kick extra points. And unless you want to have to go back to the well and try to find somebody that's sitting out there on the street that probably isn't going to be any better, then you're kind of stuck with him. So he has to be at his best. There's just no way around that, in my opinion. There's not a lot of players on this team that I would probably put above Brett Maher as far as somebody that has to be at their best. Like, you need your kicker to be at his best. It changes everything if he's not.
I see the point. I see it, and you're right. But if he's not at his best, then you go get the next guy and hope that he's at his best, and you can just keep doing that.
Yeah, but you're hoping you're not. Yeah. That's not a strategy.
No,
it's not a strategy.
It's not. But I'm just saying.
Hopium.
But if Cavante Turpin is at his best,
yeah,
your field position is going to be off the charts. You're going to have some touchdowns, some punt returns, some kick returns. You're going to start at the 40. Teams are going to be scared of him. They're going to kick out of bounds on kickoffs. They're going to kick out of shank punts and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's a closer than you think, because if Cavante Turpin is at his best, that is a weapon that we were not expecting to have.
That's great. But even if you're starting at the 40 and then you stall at the 20 because you had a holding call, and now you're relying on who? Your kicker to get you 3 points. There are.
Hold on.
I had visions of bringing the ball up the field and then missing a field goal.
Right. That's what you got to worry about.
Read the actual verbiage of the question.
Who needs to be the best?
The best or his best? Because
where are you going with this?
Well, I'm pulling up Brett Maher's stats. The best he's ever done. What's the best for him? 72% field goal kicking?
Is it?
Well, I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, and I'm not trying to skirt around the question.
No.
But is it the best he can be?
You are, but don't worry about it.
Are you want him to be?
No, you absolutely are.
You're on a roll. Keep going.
I'm just saying. Are you saying I want him to be like Adam Vinatieri or whatever, where he just never misses and he's just the clutch kicker and all that, or the best
Tucker?
Yeah. Tucker, or be his best form. His best form, is he ever going to be better than an 80? I don't know what he is. I'm looking right now, but his full,
Yeah, and
you want points or field position over there.
But hold on, the same thing.
His career 77%.
Can be applied to Turpin. Obviously, we haven't seen as much from him or to kind of determine exactly what he's gonna be. But you can't expect him to return the ball that good every single time or that often. I mean, you're making that face yes,
no,
but realistically, that's not very.
Teams can keep the ball out of his hand. They just have to give up a little bit to do that.
That helps you.
Yeah, but that helps you, gives you an extra 5 or 10 yards because maybe they're kicking out of bounds versus punting it directly to him, or they're kicking it out of the end zone and you don't get a chance, and that doesn't hurt them. So either way, my point is, I need my kicker. You've seen how it is in seasons where the kicker is a problem.
Yeah.
It changes everything you think about offensively and defensively, how you want to run your team.
Well, to Nick's point, if you think enough of this defense, you're going to make them punt a lot.
A lot.
And all of a sudden now it helps Ambar's guy with the quarterback there with field position and stuff like that. So, I mean, I hate having a bad kicker. Yeah. I've been on teams with bad kickers.
It's the worst.
It does suck.
Yeah.
It does suck.
Worst.
But I've also been on teams where my returner won the Super Bowl MVP. Where they made that much.
How was the kicker that year?
Chris Jackie was just kind of okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's Brett Maher.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
Had the MVP of the league, right?
MVP of the Super Bowl.
But also MVP of the league. Didn't Brett Favre win it that year?
Yeah, that was 96.
That kind of helps, right?
That helps.
He was back to
kind of helps.
Yeah. That number 4 was winning the MVP.
That kind of helps.
But
they probably didn't need field goals too often.
But I'll say this, though. Into half, into game, I want to see, I'm fine with field goals 50 and above. But I don't know about, a 52-yarder is on a 4th down from your 35-yard line. I don't know if I want to kick that. I don't know if I want to try it. Because if I miss it, then I'm sitting at the 42-yard line. Other teams got the ball at the 42. I know Anger will over-end punt it to the 9-yard line, and I would rather do that. So I don't want to see a lot. I definitely don't want to see a lot of 60-yard field goals. I don't even think I want to see a lot of 50-yard attempts. So this super leg that you've got out of Maher, that helps you on kickoffs for sure. I don't know if I want to see it a lot.
And that's because the strength of the defense.
Strength is the defense, and we've just seen it. He doesn't 60-yarders. He doesn't make those, and very often, not this year at least. And 50s, it's just hit or miss. And I think the safe play here is to
punt and go play defense.
Yeah, I didn't like Tin Cup at the end of it when he kept going for it like that. I would have laid up and
won the U.S.
Open. But
all right, we're gonna go ahead and take our. I do know what you're talking about. Not specifically, but I know I get the reference. We're gonna take our final break. When we come back, we're gonna finish up on this game. We'll do that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, sinking, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to the break.
Tonight, 2 straight hours on DallasCowboys.com. You got some digital streams going between 6 o'clock Central Time. You've got the blue carpet inaugural event, the Cowboys kickoff event. I like calling it the blue carpet event.
But we're not going to have the blue carpet on there mostly. It's mostly the event itself, though.
Okay. All right.
You'll have a carpet sponsor next year, I guarantee it.
There was one this year.
Oh, was there?
Yes, there was.
Well, like a carpet company.
Oh, no, not that.
Oh, yeah.
That was the blockchain.com.
The official carpet of the Dallas Cowboys.
That was the blockchain.com.
Rolling through here. Yeah.
Carpet, yeah.
And then at 7 o'clock Central Time, it is the third documentary for Deep Blue this year, 91. It was the Chronicles of the 1991 season. Wow. The season that launched the dynasty. A lot of things happened in there in 91. And I'm telling you this, I've seen a few segments of it. It is, if you like highlights, if you like some really good behind-the-scenes shots, this documentary is really good.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Can't wait to see it. I've already previewed it, but really, really good.
God, I'd hope
really
so.
Good. I know, right? That'd be a little dangerous if
the
I had
rest
not.
of us need to watch.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Sometimes.
Though. Definitely it's good.
So
there have been times it's been close.
Yeah.
There's definitely been times we cut it kind of close.
And
but
you've stood up there and they've handed you awards for it too, haven't they?
it happens. It does happen sometimes like that. It does. All right, we appreciate you guys. Let's jump back in. Let's jump back in.
You were into the show.
No. Let's jump back in.
It had an indie type feel.
Sorry. Sorry if I gave you the wrong impression. Brian.
Got it.
Let's go.
We're playing a game called Who Needs to Be the Best? And Amber, I'll go back with you on this one. How about this one? Jake Ferguson or Quentin Bohanna?
Oh. Getting in there now.
It's a big time. This is a big time show. We don't jerk around here.
Okay, but all right, we got Micah, we got DeMarcus Lawrence doing his thing in there. We got other people in. You know what? I'm gonna go with Jake Ferguson.
Okay.
I like what I've seen from him so far, and I think he can definitely take a step up into the season, regular season. He is someone that definitely the Cowboys like. I mean, obviously they like, but the way that I've seen certain interaction, like Mike McCarthy loves the guy.
Yeah.
Loves him. When I was doing sidelines this last game, even on plays that it wasn't him catching the ball or anything like that, like he would get his cheer just for like whatever blocking he was doing in the game. So I think that he's a guy that they're gonna need help because you can't just fully rely on Dalton Schultz all the time. So I think he definitely needs to be his best at the tight end position.
Boss?
I go with Ferguson too, but the reason why I do is because I think there are bigger implications here. He has an opportunity to really kind of step into that starting role. Cowboys going to have to figure out what they want to do with Schultz next year because obviously they franchised him this year.
100 catches
they
this
probably
year.
want to do that again next year. But even if he has 100, like this is an opportunity for him to give the Cowboys options. Yeah. And so if you're thinking about it from the Cowboys standpoint, I would think if I'm the front office, I'm looking at this saying I'm hoping that Ferguson is at his best because that gives me a lot more negotiating power. I might still do a deal with Schultz, but I got negotiating power now because I'm like, hey, if you need to leave and go somewhere else, I get it, but I'd like to have you back. That's a lot different than I need you back.
I might tag him one more time.
Yeah, maybe. Depends on
if he has a big
depends on what you get from Ferguson.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree with both y'all, and I do it maybe a little bit differently as well, is that if he is not at his best, now I'm asking Peyton Hendershot to be at his best. If Bohanna's not at his best, I'm asking Osa and Gallimore and Tristan Hill and maybe even Carlos Watkins back from the practice squad. I got options there if Bohanna isn't there, but I need that second tight end because it makes your offense a lot more versatile to play 12 package.
I like your answers. I thought I could draw you guys off sides with Bohanna in that middle instead of the run game.
Look, I love Bohanna,
man.
Yeah, I love Bohanna, and I really hope that he has a good year because I think he can give them something that they don't really have in some of those other guys and just his big body.
Yeah.
And I think there's some value there.
And I think for me, I'm answering this question as the best version of themselves. And so the best that I've seen Bohanna, like not the best defensive tackle. Like I'm not saying he's going to be like if he's Warren Sapp, if he's the best defensive tackle you've ever seen, okay, well that changes things a little bit. But I mean I think the best that they can be, like from the Army standpoint, I think
the old commercials,
old commercials.
No, I it's a good one though because I mean Bohanna has been playing, really well.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of been a quiet thing. Like he's actually I think he's ahead of Gallimore.
Really?
I think so. There was some talk about that. There was reasons that Gallimore was maybe playing a little bit later in some of the games.
Mm-hmm.
People were whispering about maybe not had one of the best off seasons that he's ever had. So, all right, the last one I got for you guys: Terrence Steele or Jaron Curse?
I'll go with Terrence Steele. I need I mean, that's the guy that Dak is looking at. If he gets beat, it comes right there in front of his face. And also I think they can run the ball and be powerful. If you have weak link there, it's tough to figure out because then you got to then Ferguson's got to be good to chip and be there and help out and all that stuff. Curse, I thought. They're deep at safety. They're deep at linebacker. I think that Dan Quinn will figure out if he's not at his best. But man, I need Terrence Steele to be at his best.
Once again, about replacement. I don't have very many options at tackle, and quite frankly, you look at last year. You talked about Zeke. They did well while he was healthy. The other part to that was when the offensive line played well last year. They were doing well. That second part of the season where things started kind of falling off the tracks, a lot of that was because the offensive line just wasn't playing up to par. So I need my offensive linemen to be at their best, and that's really 1 through 5. I need all of them to be at their best because if not, I think that can derail this team more than any other position right now, the way I look at it.
And agree with everything you guys said, but there's just no other. Like, I cannot pick offense over defense. Like, on defense, you take any guy. I just feel like they will be able to just make it work and get through. On offense, no, not at all. I still, even with the guys that they currently have, I'm like, I still have a lot of doubts right now. So, again, Terrence Steele, yes, we know all the issues on the O-line, but on defense, any guy, I just think that they'll make it work.
Quickly, before we get out of here, then, power rank your 5 offensive linemen.
Right now at 11:18 a.m.
And you don't have Peters.
You don't have Peters.
You don't have Peters. But power rank your 5 offensive linemen right now.
Jeez.
I'll start with one. Zack Martin. I'll let y'all go. I'll lay out.
I was actually going to allow you guys the opportunity to talk. I was going to say
Derek
Zack Martin and let you guys go.
Close the show.
I try to give you guys opportunities.
As far as comfort,
1 to 5.
Just best player.
1 to 5. Go. The guy. Ambar doesn't have any real confidence right now in the offense. So I want to see how confident though she is.
Zack Martin.
Here we go. Watch
Terrence
this.
Steele.
Terrence Steele 2?
Yeah.
Anything you say at 2 is going to be like like that's just like what?
Yeah, Terrence Steele.
Yeah.
Is the show over yet? I mean, we got music or anything?
You got 3 minutes.
Oh man.
Stretch this out.
Yeah, I just thought Peters had signed by then, so I could maybe put him in. Who am I more confident? I'm more confident about Connor McGovern.
Then
no, this guy can play. Tyler Smith can play.
Yeah,
he's strong as an ox. I'm gonna go with him. And the reason why he's not going to be over McGovern is because I don't know where he's going to be just yet. I don't know where he is, where he's practicing, and all this stuff. Yeah. I'll say him 4 and Biotish 5th.
I will say this, based on what I saw this summer and during the preseason, I may even say that right now I have McGovern ahead of Steele. I don't think Steele was great this summer. And by the way, there have been other times in practices where I've been like, Steele didn't look good, and then he gets to games and he somehow figures out how to do it. So
a lot of times, do you know why he didn't look good? Because 11's ripping around the
right,
end.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, but I actually like McGovern a little bit more than I did a year ago.
What do you got?
Martin, Smith, McGovern, Steele, Biotish.
Yep. That's how I would have gone.
You got Tyler.
See you next week.
Okay. Hey, there's going to be a lot of times. If Tyler Smith's at left tackle, where the defensive end is going to, do some kind of move, rip around him, and he's like, oh yeah, and then he's going to push him.
Put
back.
them paws on him.
He's going to push him back to the line, to the ref back there.
Yep.
Happened to Ebenezer Ekibon for years. Yeah. But just a quick move around the edge. He's like, I got him. It's like, not yet.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Yeah. All right, appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back next week. We start our regular shows every day, starting next Tuesday. We'll be on at Tuesday, and haven't finalized the time. We're thinking it's probably going to be around 11. Haven't finalized that. We're waiting to see when our press conferences and our practice will be.
Come on, Mike.
But we'll let you guys know as soon as Mike figures it out and lets us know, then we'll figure it out and let you know. All right? We appreciate you joining us. Till next week, for Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Amber Garcia, I am Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.